Greetings, Rebel fans. My name is Jason Kelly. This is the Let's Run podcast. I want to welcome you all to the show today as we celebrate an incredibly fun night at the Thomas and Mack Center. The final home game of the year, senior night. A game where the Rebels, I believe, were 3-point underdogs. Obviously, before the game, I made a mistake. I thought that Guath was going to be available. I should have done a little bit more research onto that. San Diego State's dynamic 7-footer was not out there for this game. But the Runnin' Rebels take down the San Diego State Aztecs 74-67 to complete a season sweep. Belt to butt. It was great. It was fun. This game, the Rebels won. Dare I say, they kind of won convincingly. I mean, it was a close game, but the Rebels pulled away at the end. Going into the game, if you saw my pregame, which not a lot of people saw, I did it pretty late, but I did not think that the Rebels were going to win this game. I gave them a 40% chance. I gave San Diego State the considerable edge in this one. Let me tweet this live stream out so that I make sure that everybody sees it. Go ahead and leave your comments, your comments, your thoughts, your suggestions, whatever you got. I would love to hear what you guys have to say because it's a night to kind of celebrate. It's a really fun environment at the Thomas and Mack. The crowd was really into it. It was nice to see a competitive game. The Reno game had a really fun first half. Second half, not quite as good, but in terms of crowd environment. But this game, because it was close the entire time, and because the Rebels defense, was so solid tonight, I was so happy. It sucks that it feels like we have to wait till the end of the season for this kind of a performance. But Vegas Guitar says never doubted them tonight. Well, I did. I absolutely thought. The thing is that San Diego State in the first half was getting a lot of their shots at the rim. The UNLV, our ball screen coverage was breaking down and giving the San Diego State big man easy shots at the rim, and the Rebels were relying on a lot of tough, often contested 3-pointers to generate the vast majority of their offense. And so I just didn't think, I was talking to Martin, who I appreciate you, Martin. I was talking to Martin and I said, I just don't see how we sustain this into the second half. To start the second half, it looked a lot like a lot of 3-pointers, a lot of locked, jump shots. But Jalen Hill, Jalen Bedford, Bear Cherry, and especially after Jaden Henley went out with 4 fouls. I really thought we were going to lose this one. Ima says, first sweep of the Aztecs since the Dave Rice era. Yeah, I believe the 2012-2013 season was the last time that was the Anthony Bennett team, I believe. It was the last time we ever swept the San Diego State Aztecs. Finzix asks, what Kruger's tech was about? I think he said that was bullcrap to the refs. I can't see his mouth. I sit behind the UNLV bench, so I couldn't see his mouth. He wasn't super demonstrative about that, but I gotta say, it's unfortunate that we've had to wait this long to see this Kevin, because it really feels like he's rallied the team and he's got the guys playing defense and he's got the guys performing well. And you just like, where has this been your entire coaching tenure, man? If you could consistently coach like this and get your guys to play this hard, we would be in such a better position as a program, and we would be happily renewing your contract. But as is, this win helps. It definitely is a good thing. But it doesn't fundamentally change where Kevin Kruger is as the head coach. But tonight should not be a night about Kevin Kruger. It should be a positive night for Kevin Kruger because he did great. Yes, the refs. This game, there's a couple of refs comments. I want to make sure that I see the refs. The refs were ridiculous tonight. I mean, they were calling things too late. They were letting plays play on. They didn't seem to have control over when to call things, when to keep their whistle in their mouth. I thought both teams, to be honest, UNLV was the benefactor of some outrageous officiating, and San Diego State, there was a couple of calls, especially in the first half, where San Diego State and UNLV, I mean, I feel like both coaches were standing there looking at the refs like, what are you doing, man? Like, this is unacceptable, the way that you're calling this game. Both coaches were really frustrated. Both teams were fouling each other the entire time, but the refs didn't seem to know how to control, and call fouls. San Diego State got away with a couple of really egregious flops on Jaden Henley offensive fouls, but UNLV also got away with hand checking on the perimeter. So ultimately, the refs were terrible. I mean, it was bad Mountain West officiating. Yeah, I mean, Vinny says, how about the SDSU out of inbounds with Henley literally running off the court? Yeah, the refs this was a ridiculous call. The refs gave San Diego State a technical free throw because Jaden Henley wasn't off the court yet. Fair enough. But the refs did not give Jaden Henley enough time to get off the court. I was really frustrated. Really, really, really frustrated. We get a technical foul. Luckily, he missed, so the ball don't lie. But, I mean, I think both teams and both coaches can go to those officials and say, what the heck are you doing tonight, man? I mean, this is ridiculous. Jake Gruhl asks, great win. Are we locked in the 6th seed? Yes, essentially from the moment, especially after we lost to Wyoming, but from the moment that we lost to Boise State, we were completely locked into the 6th seed. UNLV is not going to go anywhere. They're going to stay at that 6 line. They already have 8 losses. I believe this gives San Diego State 5 losses in the Mountain West, I believe. I think San Diego State has 5 losses now. Let me see. So this was their 6th loss. So San Diego State plays Reno at home. They're not going to lose that game. And even if they did, they're still going to finish ahead of the Rebels. There's no way the Rebels are climbing out of the play-in game of the first round, which is going to make the conference tournament incredibly rough for a team without any depth. The best I think we can hope for from the conference tournament is that the Rebels can steal a game. At this point in time, it looks like they might play Boise. Some part of you would almost rather lose this game, at least specifically for the conference tournament seeding. Because I would rather play this San Diego State team than that Boise State team 10 times out of 10. I really don't like playing that Boise State team. I think that they're a really great matchup for us. Same with Colorado State. I have a hard time believing we're going to get them. But ultimately, I mean, you're going to have to beat somebody. Hopefully, the Rebels can win a couple games in the Mountain West Conference tournament. Winning the tournament is just not going to happen. I mean, it's less than 2%. I mean, it's under 5% that they can do that. Last year was kind of the exception because New Mexico had legitimate, star power on their roster, but 6 seeds and lower just do not win. Actually, like 3 seeds and lower generally do not win the Mountain West Conference tournament. I would be okay with. I think Utah State and San Diego State are certainly better matchups for us than. I think they're better matchups for us than Boise State, Colorado State. New Mexico, I think, is a pretty good matchup for us, but New Mexico's the 1 seed. We're not going to see them probably at all in the Mountain West Conference tournament. It's going to be Air Force in the 6-11 game. UNLV is 9-0 against Air Force in the last 11 years in the Mountain West Conference tournament. Now they are 0-11 against every other team, which really sucks. UNLV can't beat a team in the Mountain West Conference not named Air Force, and it looks like this year is going to be a repeat of that. Larry, I think Larry's a New Mexico fan. He says, thanks for beating the Aztecs. Yep. Appreciate you guys. Always love the Lobos. I went to the pit last year. Great experience. I love that arena. I think the Rebels have a chance to win there, to be honest, because we just generally play well at the pit, but I can't wait for this game on Friday between the Rebels and the Lobos. Get your brooms out. Yep. Sweeping San Diego State, sweeping SDSU. I felt bad for the people in front of me because I screamed night. I did this at Brian Dutcher in the San Diego State bench, and the people in front of me were not too pleased that I yelled that loudly. We swept San Diego State, and that's great. Refs were out to get us at the start. Den had 33 points against Reno. Reno University that team's kind of falling apart. They were awful tonight. It was nice to see them lose to New Mexico. Yes, Dent is absolutely the player of the year. He's the best player in the conference, and he's amazing. Ravishing Ryan Moser says, thank you from a Boise State fan. No problem. It's always great to beat San Diego State. Banana Man, I'm sorry you missed the game today. My mother says, can't get the show to load. I'm sorry, and I don't know what to do about that. Blurt Reynolds says Game 6, Rich Legacy game. Yeah, Rishwain was a cold dude tonight. Kruger is coaching for his life, absolutely. He's got to get his guys playing with consistency. And here's the thing, like with DJ Thomas, the offense was so heliocentric so often. I've been beating this drum basically all season. Kevin Kruger likes heliocentric offense. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean everything revolves around one player. Kevin Kruger likes a free-flowing offensive style backed up with great defense. But DJ isn't a great defender. You know, he's actually kind of a minus on the defensive side of the court. You know, not for lack of effort, but you know, DJ isn't as good of an offensive player as Bryce Hamilton or EJ Harkless. And he's more of a distributor. I mean, he's a point guard. You know, he should be setting up guys for success on the court. He should not be taking 30 shots a game and having the whole world revolve around him on the offensive side of the glass. And without DJ, now this team is absolutely better with DJ. They are. DJ is the best player on the team. But without DJ, Kruger's kind of forced to call a lot more plays. Call a more structured offense, I should say. Not necessarily call more plays, but run a more structured offense. The way that we were using Julian Rishwain tonight had to be frustrating for him. Like, why haven't we been using you like this all season? Julian Rishwain was darting off of screens, the Rebels were running scissor action, floppy action. They were doing elevator screens for Julian. And Julian was getting catch and shoot three-pointers. And he was just incredible. And it's nice to see Kruger coach like this. But again, you know, this is how he should be coaching with DJ on the court. This is how the offense should be running with DJ on the court. And it hasn't been. What percent chance do I give us making at a tournament run? I kind of already answered this, but I would say 2 or 3% chance to win it. 2% probably. I'd say about a 20% chance of making it to the semifinals, making it out of the quarterfinals. The Rebels haven't made it out of the quarterfinals since 2013. So maybe 20% chance of that. And beating Air Force, 95% chance. Bear kind of struggles on the boards. Unfortunate, not a ton. Larry says you were right. Friday feels like a letdown game against UNLV. Yeah, New Mexico has already clinched the Mountain West Conference regular season championship. And, you know, so they're not going to have a ton to play for. The Rebels will have a good opportunity to steal a win at the Pit, a place where the Rebels have had a lot of success in the last decade, really. It's been really the only bright spot of the UNLV basketball program over the last decade is that we've done really well in New Mexico. I'm still smiling too. It was a great night. Banana Man says, I'm about to put on a longer tweet, but DJ was a defensive liability and did not act like a leader while trying to lead the team on both sides of the ball. I think that, you know, I don't know that I would say he was not trying to lead and, you know, not acting like a leader, but this team certainly is more balanced without DJ. I think with a little more scouting, teams are going to be able to kind of game plan against the Rebels a little bit. But I guess we'll see. Hopeful Rebel says, disagree. This team's better without DJ, and it's obvious everyone's able to flourish and the game flows way more. You know, I disagree with that. DJ is just too talented, but the team certainly is more – it seems like they're more dynamic without DJ, maybe. But whatever. The double-double last game gave me hope, yeah. New Mexico game is going to come down to Bear versus Joseph, Henley, and Dent. Yeah, you know, there's star power from New Mexico, star power from the Rebels. I guess we'll see how it goes. Let's break down the stats of this one. I'm going to take a little break from the comments, and then we'll get back to it here. Let's go over the stats. Really fun game tonight. This is a blast. So I'll do the San Diego State stats first. Miles Bird, really awesome player, 6'7", kind of guard, you know, kind of a guard hybrid, but he's really more of a guard than anything. With some serious size, sophomore, great player. He finishes with 10 rebounds, 6 assists, and 15 points. Only 2 of 10 from 3. The Rebels did a pretty good job. He missed a couple of open looks, but, you know, I think the Rebels have to be satisfied with the way that they played him today. Nick Boyd, not a good game for Nick Boyd. I mean, that's not true. He played a good game. He had 19 points. Sorry, I was looking at another name. Nick Boyd actually played a really good game. 19 points, 4 of 9 from 2, 3 of 6 from 3. BJ Davis gave the Aztecs 10 points, but, you know, not a lot from the rest of their roster. Pharaoh Compton, a guy that I wish and believe should be a Rebel right now, finishes with 2 points. Wayne McKinney finished with 3 points. Taj DeGorville finished with 4 points. Another guy that I wish was a Rebel right now. The San Diego State team has an interesting mix of older players and younger players, but they're not that old, really. And San Diego State was obviously without their rim protector. But let's go over the Rebels. San Diego State finishes 12 of 20 from the free throw line. They missed a lot of free throws for 60%, 24% from three. The Rebels got lucky with a few of the San Diego State misses, but they still played pretty good defense. 54% from two, 0.99 points per possession. Let's get to the Rebels now. Julian Rishwain, excellent, just an outstanding game from Julian Rishwain. He made 6 3-pointers, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, only 1 turnover. Julian Rishwain was outstanding. On his senior night, the last home game of his career, he put the team on his back for stretches of this game. Finishes with 26 points. Just an unbelievable performance for Julian. He's been a really good player this whole year. There have been some rough games, but Julian deserves all the credit in the world. Could not be happier for Julian. A guy that I've criticized, but who does not deserve criticism tonight, but adoration and praise. He's amazing. Jalen Hill had a really solid defensive game. Did miss a bunch of free throws at the end of the game in really frustrating fashion, but finishes with 11 points. Had a huge and one to kind of seal the game. His defense was great. 4 turnovers is not something you love to see, but he did get a couple of steals. Jalen Hill was solid this game. Really appreciated his effort. Jaden Henley. Up until about, with 11 minutes to go, he had 2 fouls, and he picked up 2 offensive fouls that really took him out of the game. At that point in the game, I thought the Rebels were cooked, but they came back and fought and got back in it. I'm really proud of Jaden Henley. Those offensive fouls against him were absolute baloney. The first one more than the second one, but really neither of them should have been called. But Jaden Henley, up until 11 minutes to go, was the star, kind of carrying us alongside Julian Rishwain. But at that point, Jalen Bedford and Jalen Hill kind of stepped into his role and got going. Bear Cherry, he did finish with 8 points, 4 of 6 from the field, a couple of really thunderous dunks, including an alley-oop catch. Had 3 blocks, was an amazing rim protector today. Only 1 rebound. That's going to be the criticism with Bear. But I still really love Bear. I think he's a great player, and I wish his rebounding could get a little bit better, a little bit more consistent. But ultimately, it kind of is what it is. Brooklyn Hicks, 25 minutes. He finishes with 0 points, 0 of 2 from 2, 0 of 2 from 3. Missed his only free throw attempt. Did have 4 rebounds, but no assists and a turnover. I don't know what's up with Brooklyn. This team, if they want to make any sort of run in the conference tournament, is going to need something from him. I think he's a really talented player, but something's clearly either physically or mentally just not quite right with Brooklyn right now. Jalen Bedford, after we thought his season was done, comes out, and I think that, his stat line, 10 points, 4 of 10 from the field, may not look spectacular. But the one thing about Jalen Bedford is he rebounds, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 turnovers, but, did have a steal to make up for those. I thought Jalen Bedford played an outstanding game. Was super happy with him, super proud of him. And finally, Pop played 13 minutes, had a couple of points, and a nice little take in the rim. UNLV won this game because they shot 50% from 3. I mean, this is basically what Wyoming did to us in the Thomas and Mack a month and a half ago or a month ago or so. This was a game where the Rebels got hot from 3 and won because they were hot from 3. It's not something that you can do every single game, but, they did it. Kind of funny that both teams shot 12 of 20 from the free throw line. Pretty remarkable. Ultimately, I believe the Rebels out-rebounded San Diego State by 4, so pretty solid there. Both teams had 14 assists. Both teams had around the same number of turnovers. But ultimately, is this a game that you can count on every single time that you go out on the court? No. This is certainly not a performance that you're going to be able to replicate. Shooting 50% from the 3-point line, making 12 of them, which is not something this team has done very many times this year. It's not something that you're going to be able to replicate a ton. But a win is a win. You got to win the way that you can. This San Diego State team has won a lot of gritty, tough games on the road against against teams like Air Force and San Jose State and even like Fresno State. And so, they've shown that they can win these kind of gritty games where things aren't going their way. And for the Rebels to go in there and pull this game out was just incredible. And big shout out to the seniors tonight. Jalen Hill, him tearing his ACL last year was such a bummer. But especially in the second half of the season, he's really come on pretty good. He hasn't been perfect, but he's done just about as good as you could hope for. So thank you, Jalen Hill. You are incredible. Appreciate you, man. I know that I've been critical of you, but ultimately this team, this Rebel team hasn't, besides that Wyoming game, they don't have a ton of bad losses on the year. And having Jalen Hill kind of as a steadying force, I would say, is a big reason why. Shout out to Jalen Bedford. I know this year hasn't gone kind of like you hoped. I don't know if I sometimes players see these kind of live post-game shows. So I just want to say something individually to each of the seniors. Big shout out to Jalen Bedford. I've been a fan of you. I feel like we've misused you all year, but it's great to see you finally getting, more playing time and more opportunity. These rebounding numbers are incredible. You have given it your all despite having, clearly some differences between yourself and the coach. Great job. Julian Richwain, I thought he was kind of an afterthought on the roster coming off of injury. I didn't really see him contributing that much, but you have been a shooter that UNLV has badly needed, basically forever. Excellent player. Perfect player always? No, but I think Julian Richwain has been, for the 13th guy that we added on the roster, which Julian Richwain was the last person we added on this roster. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything more than this. I mean, he has been a really solid starter. And thank you so much. Isaiah Cottrell, a player that I have never understood why it hasn't, happened here at UNLV. I think he's got all the physical tools and talent in the world. I think this is his last year at UNLV, no matter what. I hate that he doesn't get on the court because I feel like he has the potential to. And this team, especially after Rob Whaley went out, needed him to. But, Isaiah Cottrell has never been, from what I can tell, a problem. He has always been kind of a positive guy who's had a smile on his face, who came back to UNLV from West Virginia, a Vegas kid. And so thank you to Isaiah Cottrell. I think you're a talented guy, and I just appreciate you. And those are the four seniors, Jalen, Isaiah, and Julian. So I just great job, guys. I know the season hasn't been perfect. I know there's been drama, but you've played with your heads held high and with your shoulders, upright, and good job. Good stuff. To Kevin Kruger, I would just say, March is the month of miracles, man. I was talking to Anthem Rebel and I think it was Blurt or Mike Cooper or something, and we were envisioning what a Cinderella type run in the Mountain West Conference would look like. And I've already told you, I don't think this is going to happen. But there is a version of this team where Kevin Kruger, the hometown guy, the guy with his roots back, stretching back and in the history of this program, giving his dad a hug at midcourt. You have students rushing the court. You have Kevin Kruger finally, turning into the coach that we've wanted him to be. You have parents bringing their children to the Mountain West Championship game where the Rebels just went on a Cinderella run. Confetti at the Thomas and Mack Center. Kevin Kruger cutting down the nets. UNLV returning to the NCAA tournament. Now, is this going to happen? Probably not. Definitely not. Don't get your hopes up. But just go for it, guys. You have nothing to lose. Go for it. Give UNLV fans that love and that hope. Prove me. I have been calling for your job, Kevin, for basically 2.5 years now. Shut me up. Prove me wrong. Wipe that smirk off of my face. All the crouching memes, all the Prozac Kevin memes. Shut us up, man. Do it. Go out there and do it. You can do it. March in college basketball is a time of miracles. You are coaching for your job. If Kevin Kruger makes the NCAA tournament, I do not care what anybody says. I am automatically his biggest supporter and fan. You may say, well, why should a fluke run change that? Teams don't win fluke Mountain West tournament championships. Go out there and beat New Mexico on Friday. Win 4 games in 4 days. Give Rebel fans a reason to believe. Step up. You never know. The thought of hugging my family as we're celebrating UNLV returning to the NCAA tournament after a magical Mountain West Conference tournament run, that brings me just about as much happiness as anything that I could possibly imagine in my life. Outside of things like getting married, having kids, some religious stuff. There's very little in my life that would make me as happy as that. Do it. Go do it. Do it. I'm going to be the irrational fan of this Mountain West Conference tournament Mountain West Conference tournament. I'm going to try and believe in you and root for you. I'm going to be at the games. I'm going to, and I hope Rebel fans can do that too, because this is Kevin's last chance, man. He's showing us stuff right now that he hasn't shown us in a while. Crouch and Kruger Hidden Dragon meme incoming from me. Yeah, good stuff there. That's a great one, Blur. Get that one out immediately. Let's go do it, guys. Is it likely? No. But it's possible. So, Kevin Kruger should watch this clip every night before bed and when he wakes up in the morning. Yeah, Kevin Kruger should come up to me after they win the Mountain West Conference Championship, which again, I'm just talking to you guys through hypotheticals and things that I wish and dream of. Kevin Kruger should come up to me and say, now what? That should be what he should do, because there has been no bigger critic, at least in terms of a podcast or media voice. I'm a media adjacent person. I'm not a member of the media. I just have a fan podcast, but shutting me up would be would have to be sweet to him. Not that he pays attention to Twitter. I don't think he really does, but if he coaches the way he has the past 2 games, he's showing a lot of potential that I've never seen from him. I think we've seen it sometimes in his coaching career at UNLV, but go do it, guys. Go do it. Jalen, take us to the Mountain West Conference Tournament Championship. Attention to detail. Defend your asses off. I apologize for the curse there. I don't generally like to cuss, but defend, die on the court to win those games. Do it. Do it. And guess what? While it's not likely, you can do it. You can do it, Kevin. You can do it, Jalen. You can do it, Jaden. Brooklyn, I don't care if you have 8 games in a row with 0 points. I still believe that you can go out there and score 20 points, man. You can do it. And so to the seniors, to the coaches, I'm getting a little repetitive here now, but to the seniors, to the coaches, Kevin did not save his job tonight. No, he did not. He did not. He has not saved his job, but he can. To the seniors, to the coaches, regardless of what happens the rest of this season, thank you so much for the effort that you put into this game. Thank you so much for the season that you've put forward. I know that we've been critical online. I know that the social media noise has been rough, but I love you, Rebels, man. You guys, this is the team. This is the team that I will ride with till the day that I die. I love the Lakers. I love LeBron James, but my funeral, there's going to be a Rebel jacket. Sleep well. I think I might have lost. Oh, I'm gonna end it out there, guys. But think we got everybody in there. So thank you so much. 230 people watching. People love this program. People care about this program. UNLV can be back in a year from now. We can have 15,000 people at the Thomas and Mack. And how sweet would it be if Kevin Kruger was the one leading us? That doesn't mean I think he should keep his job no matter what, but how sweet would that be? So, what about the president? I'm not going to get into that a ton tonight. I just don't feel like adding some negativity. Maybe I'll do a separate podcast before the New Mexico game. But to Keith Whitfield, the president of UNLV, do not let the door hit you on your way out. The president of UNLV also was awful president who locked us into an irrevocable contract with the Mountain West that we cannot get out of. Just do not let the door hit you on your way out, man. You suck. You suck. And to Eric Harper, I am sorry. I think that I have probably put too much ire at Eric Harper directly when clearly Keith Whitfield was the person that was making a lot of these decisions. And not saying that Eric disagreed with them, but I probably should have thrown more of my criticisms at our university president and less at Eric Harper. It just sucks to be stuck in a conference when we don't have to be. You don't have to sign a grant of rights and irrevocable contract with no guarantees. The thing that makes me so mad about it is that UNLV could get $0 from the Mountain West Conference. Say they lose their lawsuits, the Mountain West loses their lawsuits to the Pac-12, gets $0, and they would still have signed an that doesn't change the irrevocability of the contract. Internet is bugging out a little bit, so I'm going to end the podcast there. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you, seniors. Thank you, coaches. Thank you, Rebel fans, for an amazing season. The season is not done yet, and I appreciate you guys. Let's run.